Before I even step outside to give you the update, I wanted to take a picture of this. Now I'm going to step out and we'll have a little chat. Hey guys and gals, it's Tuesday, November the 3rd, and we are in Flag City. 2 weeks ago today, we went to the doctor here in San Joaquin County, and Murray's care is being accelerated. So we're starting to talk to people, and we're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here until 1. The Social Security Administration's appeal of her administrative law judge a decision win back in November, that hearing is right before Christmas. So not only are we getting medical care, direct medical care for Marie, but we're getting our ducks in a row to further prove her case that yes, she is 100% disabled, cannot return to her customary work, and she gets her disability award like she won a year ago. The attorney we have said that in his 25 years of doing this, this is the 5th time it's ever happened where an ALJ judge decision was appealed by Social Security. We're getting the same ALJ judge, so from talking to the attorney, a couple of his cases got kicked back for being poorly written, and that Social Security felt that the people filing a claim weren't really disabled. So our attorney feels fairly confident that the ALJ judge is going to write a rock-solid decision, and we're going to win. I mean, if you saw my wife, she's deteriorated since the fire, and especially in the last few months. It's gotten so bad where I don't think we're going to do a whole lot of traveling until something gets resolved. So let's talk about the coach. We drove back up on the Wednesday, and Jeff met us, and the coach was in the shop, in the stall, getting worked on, and the lift pump showed up, and the installation went in fine, and the coach runs, but the engine oil dipstick tube, not the dipstick itself, but the tube, had rusted so badly that they didn't feel that it should be driven without being replaced because oil would gush out. And they couldn't source the right part because the manufacturer no longer exists. And I think I've talked about this in other clips. The problem with a diesel pusher is that it's on a Freightliner chassis, but it's a Cummins motor and Allison transmission, and all these other parts are all subbed out by different vendors. Now, obviously, if we'd have bought a Ford Class A gas-powered one on the F53 chassis, yeah, the Ford subs out a bunch of that stuff, but they all have Ford part numbers. And in theory, you could go to a Ford dealer that's geared to work on an RV, and the one down here in Rio Vista is, and you can get Ford part numbers. So it seems to be a struggle with this coach, and I want to point that out to y'all who may be thinking about buying a diesel pusher. You don't want to buy one this old, and you don't want to buy one that's been on the coast. So we've learned our lesson. We weren't thinking clearly. We were sick. We were just having to do something. I love driving the coach. Now, they sourced they got the right a parts guy who knows the stuff. So they managed to source a Cummins part number, and they made it work. So I have a brand new dipstick tube. They really did me right on the labor. They didn't have to, and they did. So I'm telling you, Rocky Mountain, Cummins, and Sparks seem to be the only people I've dealt with this coach that hasn't screwed me or lied to me. But it was fixed last Wednesday by 5 o'clock, and they said, not only can you stay, overnight, we'll have the bill ready in the morning. But if you want to stay a couple of extra days and rest, it's not a problem. Which I thought was just the classiest damn thing that anyone could say, recognizing that, you know, my wife is disabled and I'm sick. And okay, so Rocky Mountain Cummins, quality people. Anyway, so Thursday, a week ago Thursday, we get in the coach and by God, it fires right up. We go drop off the rental car, and they're really nice too. Enterprise and Sparks is in a shopping center, and I couldn't really get the coach right to where Marie was to drop the car off. So they put her in the car and drove her over to the other side of the parking lot where the coach was, and then helped me get her in the coach. Again, the classiest damn people you could think of. Enterprise and Sparks. Way to go, guys. So we get in the coach, we fuel it up. We don't fuel it up. We get in the coach, we fire it up. I can't find the other plug to the Sirius receiver. I don't know what the hell I did with it. So we didn't get all the music we wanted. You know, I had that meltdown that I talked about in the last clip, or 2 clips ago. So we drive it, runs like a champion. 75 without even breathing hard. Not a lick of transmission, anything, going up the backside of the grade between Verdi and the top of the pass at Donner Summit. And then going down, it's not all straight down, as y'all know who grew up out here or lived out here. There's ups and downs, and not a problem. So I suspect that Reading Freightliner strikes again, and they didn't address plugging in the harness all the way. Now you would think, okay, why did it run at all? Well, when I worked at the alarm company, we had something called swingers, and that would be when something electric would trip the alarm. We'd go out, and either myself or the service people on the day side could duplicate it. Y'all know you've had cars where, or you've heard the story where, you know, something runs bad, and then they get it to the shop and it runs fine, and you're thinking, well, Jesus, it doesn't run fine for me. So I suspect that the transmission issue was because the wiring harness wasn't plugged in all the way as it should have been, and I had swingers, and it got loose enough to where, well, I had to be towed. But this is Reading Freightliner strikes again. Now, Reading Freightliner told me in email, and I still have it, that they put a new ECM, TCM, and wiring harness in, but I've got Rocky Mountain Cummins in writing on the bill saying it's not that way. So I've got bigger fish to fry right now. Y'all know I've said I'm going to sue these goddamn sons of bitches, but I've got to get Marie's health in a spot to where we could leave California. She's got to win her Social Security. She's got to defeat Social Security's appeal. She's going to go right on the Medicare. And because it's 2 years after you initially apply when your decision is had. God damn, the flies out here. This is the problem with Flag City. The flies are, God almighty, incessant. And now we've talked about, and I can't think if I even talked about this, but I'm looking for 55 plus RV parks in the Willamette Valley, anywhere from, or in the I-5 corridor, anywhere from Medford, Oregon, all the way to Bellingham, Washington. Though I prefer to live in Oregon because it's not a community property state. And I don't want that because I'm not on Medicare yet, and I don't have the health insurance I thought I had. And bluntly, if I get sick, I'm going to bankrupt off the bill. So, and it won't touch Marie's money. And then 2, the cannabis is the best way in the country. I mean, it just is. And y'all know I smoke. I don't care if you know. I'm not ever gonna go to work again. It's legal, and it's the only thing that tamps down the nausea and makes me able to somewhat function. Now, my dad, before I cut all of them off, called me a user. And it's like, you know, I don't have to be around that attitude. So I've looked at some 55 parts, and we're going to go up there as soon as we are able to. I mean, we're not going to leave next week, but the secondary goal here is to get the modular that we still own. We wrote a check for it. Marie wrote an $83,000 check. We did get $68,000 in insurance, so, but still, you know, we wrote a check for that. God, the flies. We're going to start looking for somewhere to plant the modular. Now, we realize after living in Coos Bay, which we really, really liked, and it broke Marie's heart to be forced out, that we have got to live somewhere with better medical care. Now, I'm telling you all this, I turn 60 next month, and Marie turns 64 next month. And if you still have your health and you're of my vintage, then goddamn cherish it every goddamn day. Because if you ever get to lose it, like Marie, who never thought she'd be crippled and stuck in a wheelchair for 20 plus years, because that's where we're headed, or this mystery illness I've had for over 3 years that nobody seems to know what the hell it is. So value your health. So these are the two primary things. If I address these, I have a year in California to file in small claims court, and bluntly, it's important, but I've got more important things: Marie's health and getting our modular planted. Because bluntly, we talked about it and said, you know, we had that. It's not custom built per se, but it's built to order. And we ordered a bunch of options anticipating being mobility challenged. Now, my parents did the same thing in the family house. They spent at least $200,000 making that house so they could hire in help and live in the house until they died. And that's a great idea. And we thought about that when we ordered the options on the modular. So that's kind of story what the plan is. I've taken 12 minutes of your day up. The internet here is horrific. I had to drop Nomad Internet because even though on their website they say they don't throttle, they lie. They do. AT&T throttles. So I guess it's disingenuous at best. Nomad doesn't throttle, but AT&T throttles when you use too much of your unlimited data. And I'm telling you, the American cell phone industry is really three people. It's AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile after their merger, and Verizon. And they all brag about, I mean, we're in a 5G area, 5G. But if you go over 30, 40, or 50 gigabytes, they slow you down so much, they throttle you to where not only are you slow, but you're literally the least important data on their network. And I'm just not going to put up with that shit. So right across the street is this, right here, right next door, is Starbucks. And I read that in 2014, Starbucks jumped AT&T and went to Google as their free in-house Wi-Fi provider, and it's supposed to be better than damn near 4G LTE in a lot of cases. So when I'm done here, and I'm going to make a couple other clips, I'm going to walk over to Starbucks here and see if it's true. I'm going to buy a cup of coffee or two, and there you go. So I'm sorry for taking up almost 14 minutes of your time, but Marcus from Good Sam never did write me back. So I'm going to just make a little note to him expressing my disappointment. So anyway, that's your update. Thanks for watching Storytime with Joe or whatever. So enjoy your day.